Rachel Zegler just broke down on the set of Evita, and honestly, nobody saw this coming. Now, the 23-year-old actress who went from unknown teenager to Golden Globe winner allegedly collapsed while filming one of the most demanding roles in musical theater. And let's be real, reports were already hinting these claims as Rachel was looking for a therapist after the Snow White flop. So, what really happened on set? Now, while performing on stage, Rachel gives it her all. Her voice literally shakes the air, and her body trembles with the weight of the character. Her voice is magical and powerful. I'm waiting on a wing. But then something shifted. The performance that started with such power ended with Rachel walking off, set in tears. On the last day of shooting Snow White, she broke down completely and left the scene. What could have gone so wrong? And who's really behind all this chaos?
To do what we do and to make movies, but I love it so much because I get to see you guys. And I'm really, really thankful that so many of you have been with us for 3 summers, and if you were here for 2 or just back for this one, you're part of such an important family to me. And this has been such a hard, wonderful journey, and I'm so thankful to have been on it with you all. So thank you.
Now listen, people are whispering about mental strain, the nonstop pressure to perform perfectly, the weight of constant online criticism that follows her everywhere. Now, imagine feeling like the entire world is watching your every move, just waiting for you to mess up. That's the kind of pressure Rachel Zegler has been under for months. Let's take a look as she talks about her terrible audition experience.
You have a terrible audition experience.
I do have a terrible audition experience. I was actually, oddly enough, auditioning for a Broadway show of a very famous Broadway musical that was having a revival, and the producers and directors were ordering lunch while I was singing.
What?
It was so
like,
horrible.
Actually, while you were singing a song?
Yeah. I booked West Side Story a week later.
But here's where it gets real. This breakdown wasn't just about one bad day. It's been building for months, and the reasons might shock you. The Hollywood blacklist, conspiracy, or reality. To many, Rachel Zegler was supposed to be the future of musical cinema. Steven Spielberg discovered her. She became a household name overnight with West Side Story. But just a few years later, things feel different. What happened? Was it the role she chose? Or was it her woke remarks that led to her downfall? Ever since Rachel took a bold stance during the Snow White press tour, calling it outdated princess tropes and questioning industry norms, she's faced a wave of media backlash. And I know you already know that, so I'm not going to go deep into that. So the question arises from here is she being punished for her woke remarks? Or is it really that it's the Hollywood that is getting too woke these days?
It's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them,
she's a good actress,
that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Now, we all have seen those Hollywood writers doing protests last year against SAG-AFTRA, and Zegler was also part of these protests, and she was not afraid to speak up about issues like pay gaps and diversity in Hollywood. But that honesty has made her a target. Let's take a look.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Now, women in the industry face a brutal double standard. Speak up and they're difficult. Stay quiet and they're too passive. For women of color, it's even tougher. Christian Bale loses his temper, people call it method acting. One tweet that's been viewed over 200K times says, "What exactly did she do wrong that got people hating and sending her death threats? Why are female celebrities of color always negatively tagged when they speak up?" Now, check out the viral clip of Zegler defending her Snow White reimagining, then scroll the comments. Are they fair criticism, or does it reek of gendered hate? One tweet that's been viewed over 4 million times says, "You wanted authenticity. She gave it to you. And now you're punishing her for not being fake enough for your red carpets." Then came her London play flop. Let's be real. This theater flop isn't just a bad night at the office. It's Hollywood's wake-up call wrapped in empty seats and crickets. Rachel Zegler has officially become the cautionary tale nobody asked for but everyone's watching. Studios literally threw everything at her after West Side Story, treating her like the chosen one of Disney's next generation. But here's the thing, the audience never got the memo, and now, with Snow White bombing harder than a middle school science project and theater tickets gathering dust like forgotten mixtapes, the message couldn't be clearer. Fans want substance, not sermons.
Sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
In theater, bruh, theater doesn't lie. You can't Photoshop a crowd, you can't CGI enthusiasm. When nobody shows up, you're literally performing to ghosts. It's honestly bonkers how the same industry that sells out Hamilton faster than concert merch can't fill half the seats for Rachel's Evita. We're talking about the London Palladium here. 2,286 seats of prime real estate. This isn't some dingy community theater, but night after night, tumbleweeds. Now, here's where it gets spicy. They claimed $4 million in pre-sales before announcing Rachel's casting. So, if that's legit, why are front row seats still available like Black Friday leftovers? Reddit's already tearing this apart, calling it PR fairy dust designed to manufacture hype. Because here's the brutal truth. Movies can fake success with creative accounting and opening weekend spin, but live theater, you either pack the house or you don't. Rachel can't pull some premiere stunt where paid extras pretend to be superfans. This is raw, unfiltered reality check time. What's even more unhinged is that Hollywood's still pushing her like they're doubling down on a losing poker hand. Execs are acting like if they just shove Rachel into enough projects, we'll all suddenly have an epiphany and crown her our new queen. Spoiler alert, that's not how fandom works, Chief. Hollywood's got this nasty habit of trying to force feed us the next big thing before we're even hungry. Remember when they tried to make Sam Worthington happen? Or Jai Courtney, the action hero we never asked for? Massive budgets, major roles, zero audience connection. You can't manufacture star power in a boardroom meeting, but Rachel's situation hits different because her theater debut came right after the Snow White meltdown. Like walking a tightrope in stilettos during an earthquake. Sure, her Romeo plus Juliet run supposedly made bank, but that was before she became the poster child for Hollywood controversy. So, when fans see Rachel Zegler on a marquee now, they're not thinking star power, they're thinking, oh great, another lecture disguised as entertainment. And honestly, Rachel might have pipes, she might have range, but this isn't about talent anymore. It's about whether anyone's still willing to listen. Live performance is the ultimate truth serum. No second takes, no editing magic. If the audience doesn't vibe, you feel every second of that silence. Now listen, this isn't some cancel culture witch hunt or me calling Rachel evil incarnate, but we can't pretend her image hasn't been shaped more by her interviews than her actual performances. That condescending, preachy energy she brings to press tours, yeah, audiences remember that stuff. A TikTok fan recently shared her real-life encounter with Rachel, and let's just say it wasn't the warm, authentic moment anyone hoped for. Cold vibes all around.
Amelia's Gelato? So I actually met Rachel Zegler in New York after her Broadway show performing Romeo and Juliet, and let me just say I have a couple opinions on her after meeting her in person. First, I will say I completely understand how people took what she said about Snow White and how she promoted that and just took it negatively, because I did too. Like, I genuinely did not like the way that she was talking about her character and stuff, but I have to say that in person, oh my god, she is so sweet, and not only that, she is ridiculously talented. Like, in that show, her singing actually blew me away. I've never heard anyone sing that well in person. I can't explain it. It was just amazing. I know there are some clips on TikTok where people secretly record the show. I highly recommend you guys go watch that because her riffs were insane, and she only had like one singing part, but that was my favorite part of the entire show. She is genuinely really talented and a nice person. I just think that the way that she talks and the way that she presents herself to the camera does not always bode well with people, but that doesn't make her a bad person. And so yeah, that's my unpopular opinion on her.
Meanwhile, the media is still trying to sell us on Golden Globe winner Rachel Zegler, Hollywood's rising star. But honestly, this feels like legacy PR trying to polish a reputation that's already cracked. Her Hunger Games appearance was fine. But let's be real, that franchise could star a cardboard cutout and still make money. The Hunger Games brand sold those tickets, not Rachel Zegler. And here's where it gets really messy. Hollywood's backing her like they got money on the table they can't afford to lose. Because admitting she was miscast in Snow White means admitting the execs who vouched for her made a mistake. People like Spielberg, who allegedly pushed for her casting, have gone radio silent since the flop. Almost like they're hoping this all just disappears.
To do with Gal Gadot calling out Rachel Zegler and putting her in the hot seat, as well as Disney when bringing up the production issues for Snow White. Now, Gal delivered the following: the most important thing when you are working on a film is teamwork, and when you have characters like the Evil Queen and Snow White, you expect teamwork to play a role in the creative process when you are trying to put something special together. We didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks that we had to deal with during this entire process, and I just found that to be very exhausting. When you are acting, you expect your co-stars and the creatives to go all the way and to support each other, and we just didn't meet those expectations.
Word on the street is that even Gal Gadot, her Snow White co-star, has been privately venting about the behind-the-scenes chaos. She hasn't dropped names, but come on, who else could it be? And that's the real issue here. Rachel might have the voice, might have the look, but what she's missing is that basic Hollywood truth. You have to connect with people. You have to earn their trust. You can't just show up swinging at beloved classics, calling fan favorites weird, and expect loyalty in return. That's why her stardom feels manufactured, forced down our throats instead of earned through genuine connection. The worst part? She's dragging everyone else down with her. Every cast member, every crew worker who poured their soul into Snow White is now watching their project get labeled a disaster, all because of one person's attitude problem. So, studios are quietly hitting the brakes. Not with the dramatic announcements, but with Hollywood's favorite move, the slow fade. One day you're headlining Disney remakes, the next you're nowhere to be found on future project lists. Rachel might still show up at award shows and press events, but don't be fooled, the star-making machine just shifted into neutral. The bottom line. So, Rachel Zegler's career isn't dead, but it's definitely on life support. Not because she can't sing or act, but because she forgot the most important rule in entertainment. The audience picks the winners. Not the executives, not the headlines, the fans. Hollywood tried to crown her the next big thing. Gave her the trophies, the roles, the red carpet treatment, but they skipped the part where she actually had to win people over. And now we're watching the consequences play out in real time. Empty theater seats, box office bombs, and comment sections that tell the real story. Look, we're not rooting against talent here, but if Rachel doesn't learn from this breakdown, someone else will come along who actually gets it. Someone who respects the fans, embraces the craft, and lets the story speak louder than the politics.